Hello there, and welcome to episode 14 of Smocks Without Attitude. And this episode, we're going to cover the last Raw branded pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, which is another one of those pay-per-views that's named after a match type that everyone loves so much. Joining me as always is my co-host Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Hello, Reese. You okay?
I'm fine. Yeah. Right. So, Elimination Chamber. What are your initial thoughts on that, Harry?
It's a very mixed show, I have to admit. When it was good, it was great, but there was a lot of fluff, a lot of nothingness, which is quite sad, really, for as they call it, the final stop before WrestleMania.
Yeah. We do have Fastlane soon, don't we, for SmackDown?
We do, yeah. 2 weeks' time.
And these are the last two single-branded pay-per-views? Aren't we going back to dual-branded pay-per-views after WrestleMania? Is that correct?
I think so. I don't know what the pay-per-view is after WrestleMania. I don't know if it's actually Backlash or what, but I believe
it's Backlash, yeah.
Which would make sense, because that Backlash used to be the pay-per-view back in the later Attitude Era and most of the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah, and that's dual branded. There's no more Raw only and SmackDown only.
Plus, it makes sense as well, because it's called Backlash, as in the backlash from WrestleMania.
Well, that was the point of it, right?
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
Not, Extreme Rules, because why not? Yeah. So, Elimination Chamber is as you just said, the last stop on the road to WrestleMania for the Raw brand. It has 2 chamber matches. I've always enjoyed a good Elimination Chamber match. We got a Raw Women's Title chamber match, and we do have a number 1 contender for the Universal Title chamber match. You know how in Germany the Elimination Chamber isn't. They don't call it. They call it. Is it No Escape? Isn't that's the name of the pay-per-view, right? Do you reckon the German commentators don't say the word chamber during commentary?
But it's kind of weird, because what do they keep going, the No Escape match? I mean, I don't speak German, so I'm not.
No, I was just interested. I was thinking about it the other day. Anyway,
they are very strict with their rules. They are very strict about their rules about.
Well, anything to do with between 1931 and 1945, yeah. Nothing
happened. Punch was served.
he left to manage a Dairy Queen. Yeah. Nothing bad happened. Anyway. Okay, right. Elimination Chamber, as always with Elimination Chamber. As always with these things. Run us through the pre-show, please.
Oh, might as well. It's actually quite a quick and easy one for once, because fuck all really happened on the pre-show.
Mm.
They did mention Ronda a lot. That's probably the main thing to point out. She is literally the star attraction of this.
Mm-hmm.
Paige is the girl who goes on the booth, because they usually drag someone on there. I was more interested to see what they were going to do with her new hand tattoos, and lo and behold, she had most of her hands underneath the desk the entire time.
What do they say?
Chat shit, get bit, or something.
Is these tattoos to cover up the stupid Del Rio one she had done?
No, these are on her hands. Del Rio is on her ribs.
It says Pappy, doesn't it? Has she got that on a finger?
I don't know. It's really fucking big, and she had a shitload of makeup put onto it, as opposed to just giving her gloves, because, in case she ever does manage to come back to wrestling. But anyway, she... there's nothing really said about it. She just said she was happy that Rousey was here, but she's moving on from 2 fights a year in the UFC to being, ran in the WWE calendar for about 100 dates. And I'm just thinking to myself, that's bollocks, but, it might be proven wrong.
Well, apparently that is the case. She's going to be a normal worker, but we will see.
Yeah, exactly that. Raw was a bit more optimistic. There's a promo by Woken Matt Hardy, which is cringy as fuck, because there's no crowd reaction. There's no one in there. It's just basically the same old shtick he's been doing for the last 6 weeks, where it's just, he'll laugh, he'll say some random things in his kooky voice, and it's just, you just realise how fucking awkward it is, because there's, again, no one to react to it.
not really into this Matt Hardy thing anymore.
I was very hyped for it for its first week, but as we'll see on the pay-per-view, I think the ship has sailed on this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because with WWE Sheen, it's kind of not the same as it once was, and obviously there's no, there's no Hardy compound, and there's no utter crazy promos. I mean, it's obviously crazy, but yeah, I mean, if Rebby was there and the baby, maybe obviously they did all that stuff in the the comfort and confines of their own house. So, but obviously he hasn't been allowed to do any of that. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. The social media cringe segment is not really backstage at all. It's actually just an interview from the panel to Kurt Angle. The only legitimate good question that was asked was whether or not if Cena loses tonight, would he not be included at WrestleMania? And Angle actually just laughs it off and says no.
It is silly how they're trying to portray that, though.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's kind of John Cena's like, if I don't win the Royal Rumble, I don't have a road to WrestleMania. If I don't win the Elimination Chamber, I don't have a road to WrestleMania. And spoiler alert: when he doesn't win, he then goes on to Raw and just says, I could challenge the Undertaker, but I won't. I'm going to go to SmackDown to see if I can try and force my way into a road to WrestleMania there.
Oh, the best bit.
I believe he's on Fastlane, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he is. No. Apparently, as of time of probably he's time stepping this when it's hilariously out of date. But Twitter on the WWE's Twitter handle basically said Plan B, and all I'm thinking to myself is, oh my god, they were so close to saying Cena arrives at the B show to get Plan B. But his picks, and going back to Angle, his picks to win both Elimination Chambers are really complicated. He lists pretty much every guy in the match as a potential winner, but he says Alexa's definitely winning the Ladies Chamber match. Your pre-show main event, I couldn't think of anything funny, so I've just said Hot Topic because of the amount of Bullet Club t-shirts, and if you haven't bought one yet, you can get it from Hot Topic.
God, there's so many Bullet Club t-shirts in these crowds.
This match, The Miz, Taraj versus Gallows and Anderson. It is your bog standard tag team match. Gallows is working for the hot tag the entire time. Anderson's facing peril, which is kind of funny because the Miz Taraj have been treated like complete geeks the entire time. They literally are just underlings. It's a nothing match. Gallows and Anderson win with a magic killer. It's tepid as fuck. They were really into it at the start of the match, the crowd, with the two sweets and stuff, but it's a case of the crowd loves the chants. They don't give two shits about the people involved in it. At the end of the match, we have the Revival working on program, saying they criticised the entire match, which was quite funny, even though they're not on the show tonight. And our final segment, which is I'm pretty sure was a lead-in as a botch. The final 2 minutes of this show is Heyman arriving at the booth, talking about, how Bork Laser's going to conquer everyone and blah, 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 blah. And the only funny bit was where he basically, I think Pete gave a nod to him, and he said, "Who are you?" And that's literally one of the last things we hear before we go to the main show.
Wonderful.
Yeah. He is literally the butt monkey of fucking WWE.
Good. He's rubbish.
But that was pre-show. Bollockle.
Wonderful. Didn't actually sound as though much happened.
It didn't. It really fucking didn't.
Well, this is good. That's good. That means it's an easy job for you.
Yeah, I know. Well, it isn't really, because then I woke up at 5:30 to get this shit out of the way so I could actually watch the show of an evening, and it was a waste of time, ultimately. Like most of these pre-shows.
Well, don't worry. Next year there's going to be about 4 or 5 2-hour-long ones. So there you go.
No, I think isn't every one of them 2-hour pre-show, 4 hours
I hope not.
Minimum. I fucking hope not. I miss the days of pay-per-views being just 3 hours long. I miss those days. Bring them back. I'm watching 2007 pay-per-views, and fucking pay-per-views are lucky to go over 2.5 hours, and it's great.
Go through 95 and go through like when... don't go through 95 because it's dreadful. But if you do fancy a laugh, go through 95 and watch the first couple of In Your Houses. They're all like really short, like 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly that. Whereas now it's just, I feel like they feel like they have to go over 3 hours because Raw's 3 hours, but they really don't.
Yeah. Well, this pay-per-view went 3 hours and 22 minutes, I think. So it went long. Mm.
Yeah, there are problems with this, but we'll now get onto it with the main show.
Yes, that brings us to the main card. So, Elimination Chamber opens with the women's Elimination Chamber match. The Raw Women's title is on the line. Alexa Bliss is champion in peril as she goes up against five. Is it six people? Yeah,
Yeah.
five challengers who were Bayley, Sasha Banks, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Mickey James. I think I got that right. Yep. Right. Yeah. Did you read all of the rules and listen when they did all the rules at the start of the match? I was nearly switched it off when they did that. I was just like, what the fuck? Just start a fucking match.
I know, but they do this every time because I suppose they have it like it's like the comic book rule. It's like every time someone watches this, it might be their first ever WWE show. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
what makes me laugh is, I mean, I don't mind having the rules explained once. When you get to the end of the show and the men's is on, it's the exact same fucking rules, and they repeat the rules. And it's like I know the WWE thinks their audience are complete fucking idiots, but you don't have to explain the rules twice in the same show. Once is enough.
What did you think of this match?
It was okay. To be blunt, it was okay. For the first ever one, or as a trailblazing match, as the WWE is desperate to coin the term.
Did it make such a big deal about this being? Obviously, they did say that this was the first one, blah blah blah. But obviously, they didn't make. I didn't think it was that big a deal, or I didn't think they made it as big a deal.
Yeah, I completely agree. They made the Hell in a Cell match last year seem like the biggest thing ever, and obviously it was in the position of the card. The Royal Rumble, obviously, again hyped up to fuck. This one, it just felt like it was a match, and it was even more telling because I'd say four of these women are proven wrestlers, and two of them are just new commodities. And what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was clearly well put together. It was just a bit. I thought it was a bit slow at sometimes. Sometimes, um, like the opening pairing should have been like really, really fast paced to get the crowd going, but it wasn't. It was quite slow and a bit plodding.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
And then when it was 2-on-1 against Bayley, it was even slower, and it was just like a odd beatdown where it was kind of like, okay, they had the numbers advantage. So Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville had the numbers advantage on Bayley, but they were just like really slow and obviously playing like a kind of heelish, arrogant thing. And there was this bit when I think they did one of those knees. Sonya Deville kneed her and got a pin and a 2 count, which wasn't even like a close 3. It was like it was a 2 count. And then Mandy Rose pinned her again, and it was a 1 count, and she was like, "What the hell?" And it was just like, "Fucking hell, do some moves, do something. This is so slow and boring." I mean, when Mickey James then came in, she did have like a bit of babyface fire, and she sent people. I think was it Mickey James next, or was it Sasha?
Entrant three was Mandy, Sasha. The weird thing about this match was it was built up with as if 3 teams were present during it. And this sort of booking, I mean, it was kind of predictable. It was obvious that with Sonya starting, then they would bring another heel in, and then they would have the equalizer as Sasha, and then they would have Mickey and Alexa, who have been teaming together very recently, to finish it off. And it was just a bit of a mess with the booking. I thought this type of match, I mean, they're not going to do it, but maybe they should have maybe made it cross-brand just to fill the numbers with more competent wrestlers.
Maybe. I suppose then it just doesn't. It just dilutes the storylines that. Well, Raw women's division does have some storylines, whereas SmackDown's women's division, I couldn't tell you what the fuck was going on. To be perfectly
Oh,
honest.
I know the SmackDown's women's division storyline is literally we have a 6-woman tag team match every week, and we just keep doing it until people forget we did it the previous week.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
This match is just, I know it's the first of its kind. It just didn't really click together. I wasn't a fan of the booking of 3 teams at all. I thought it should have been more individuals, but that's probably just personal preference. Bayley, I thought, had the crowd quite into her, despite all of her previous shortcomings. But she is literally the stupidest face in wrestling. It's actually quite sad now.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, anyone who didn't see the fucking Sasha, I suppose, heel turn, but apparently it's not really. It hasn't really been played up as a heel turn on Raw afterwards. I don't even know what the fuck they're
They
doing.
don't
But
even know what they're fucking doing with Sasha because she does this terrible. Well, she breaks up the friendship during the match, and then she turns against Bayley, and Bayley gets. Sorry, tell a lie. No, Bayley does get eliminated next, doesn't she? It's between Sasha and Alexa. It's dead last, and at the end, Alexa manages to get the victory despite all the odds going against her and being a coward during it. And Sasha spends the end of the match outside crying, and it's like, no. You've just turned against your best friend. You've practically turned heel. You don't have the crying moment. Like, pick one. You're not a fucking tweener.
yeah,
It's just weird. I don't think they know what they're doing. I mean, that's probably the WWE in a nutshell. The writers don't know what they're doing. They want to have their cake and eat it.
yeah. I'm trying to think of any if there are any really good spots in this match, but there weren't. There weren't really, were there?
I did like Bliss when she went to the top of the pod and nailed a twisted Bliss, but then Sasha gets up immediately and does the bank statement, and they have to awkwardly bring her back into the ring. And there's a bit where she has to mouth to her to get roll me in.
Yeah.
And then the hold gets broken anyway. So it's kind of ruined. But as you say, there wasn't a lot in there. And again, with all due respect to Sonya and Mandy, they're new to this. They're relatively new. They didn't have a lot of gestation in NXT. And unless this was their coming out party, they didn't really perform anything. That would have been like, holy shit, the women's divisions really benefit from these two coming up. No, there was really nothing to it.
So yeah, Bliss got the win. She then got an in-ring interview, which I suppose did try and sell the occasion as being the first big one, and first women's chamber match. The first 3/4 of this interview was done in a babyface fashion. She kind of did a bit of crying. She got some "You Deserved It" chants, which I thought was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, the "You Deserve It" chants are a bit odd. Sometimes I think they're justified and they're quite good crowd participation and stuff. Like, remember when the Raw after WrestleMania 30 when Daniel Bryan had both his title belts, and it was kind of
exactly, yeah.
It was like, yes, that's actually that's good. But Alexa Bliss just entered an Elimination Chamber match last and defended her title. She should. As far as anyone was concerned, she was always going to win that match. And then she got "You Deserve It" chance, which was odd. She kind of played the babyface for about a minute and then told everyone that they'd never amount to anything. And I was actually quite pleased that she didn't. There was no stupidity going on with the face and heel dynamic. So yeah, thank God that she did that. I thought it was a pretty decent promo in the end.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, it was interesting. Talking of promos, this was followed by a promo segment with, why are they doing this stupid selfie fucking mobile phone camera promo start? What the fuck is this?
I think it's because Miz did that really good one with Corbin. And
right.
It was like, completely off, he just literally did it for I think it was Instagram or Twitter. And it was fantastic. And the WWE was like, oh, well, we can do that, but betterer. And in typical WWE fashion, it's just fucking, it comes off as artificial as fuck.
But if you're going to do it, don't do it with fucking Braun Strowman.
He's becoming the Big Show. He will be New Year's baby.
Oh,
Give
God.
it 10 years.
He has kind of done a similar thing. He was one of the Rosebuds, wasn't he?
We don't talk about that.
No, we don't.
That was Sean Browman.
Yeah, right. So that stupid promo was followed up by the next match, which was the Raw Tag Team titles, The Bar against Titus Worldwide. Why is this on a pay-per-view? Was it just me, or was it like did The Bar seem really obviously not really into it?
No, I concur. This was a proper filler feud, if there ever fucking was.
So bad.
This is a piss break, just under an hour into the show. Not a very good sign, to be fair, and that's totally the fault of the fucking booking, because no one can take Titus Worldwide at all seriously.
Yeah, it was kind of quite like the formula was really obvious as well. It was Apollo did some plucky stuff, babyfacey stuff. He got beat down a fair bit. Titus, if anything, if nothing else, Titus has a fairly decent hot tag spot where he just, like they used to do with what's his name back in the day. What's his
Darren, yeah.
name? Yeah. If nothing else, that's all he has. They did that, and then they lost. So yeah, I don't really have anything of note to talk about because there weren't really any major spots. There was never ever any indication that the Bar would lose this match. I suppose Titus Worldwide got a pay-per-view match, which is good for them, I guess. But
Yeah, but then what does that lead to? I mean, they go back down the bottom of the card, and it's like, well, we'll see you on Raw when we need some filler teams.
well, the next night on Raw they go again in a best 2 out of 3 match, which the Bar win 2-0. So Titus Worldwide are pretty much buried in that respect in terms of like their place in the division. But this is a division that, unless they start actually taking teams like the Revival or Gallows and Anderson, who are just doing some really crappy 50-50 booking with those two teams, there's no one really to go up again. I suppose the Hardys could do it. I suppose that's a way of making the Hardys more interesting, is when Jeff comes back, they might do that.
That's if Jeff joins the Woken universe,
That's what I mean.
if they're going to call it. Whereas I think they'll still have a bit of a soft spot and think, these are former WWE champion. Why don't we just split them up? Matt can do his subpar crazy shit, and Jeff will go to either SmackDown, or they'll transfer Matt to SmackDown, and Jeff can have a singles run. And then you're just left with that team going there.
So who did the Bar have? I mean, we're 6 weeks to WrestleMania, and they've been a big highlight of pay-per-views in the last 6 months, especially. They've put on some absolutely wonderful matches. Obviously, they were probably going to have a little bit longer with the Shield and Ambrose and Rollins, but obviously Ambrose got hurt. There's nothing really for them.
Unless it is literally going to be the Revival, but they haven't really done a case of building them up, and it looks like the Revival's still busy with Gallows and Anderson. So
I suppose I don't think they will. I think obviously things like NXT call-ups are done after WrestleMania, but I suppose you could just bring up Authors of Pain. But I don't think
there's 6 weeks of build, or 5 weeks now.
I think Cesaro and Sheamus would actually make the Authors of Pain look quite ordinary.
That's a fear, though, obviously, because of fantasy booking wise, you don't want your dominant NXT tag team to get fucking put in their place almost immediately when they've spent their entire run thus far being dominant monsters.
Have you ever heard of a team called The Ascension?
You mean those nice lads who play with Brizango every week?
Christ, I suppose that's Vince, isn't it, doing that. But have you got anything else to add to this tag team title match?
Just one. The Crowd. This was their descent into utter madness. The Crowd is utter shit throughout this entire show. This was when they started to slip standards. There's a beach ball chant during this, and I'm pretty sure there's boos because someone in the crowd tries to get one up, but I think a security guard stops them. This won't be the last time we mention how the crowd starts to get on our fucking nerves, but this match again, Apollo looks all right. As you say, Titus has a good hot tag. It was complete filler. Nothing was gonna stop the Bar from retaining this. But yeah, match was okay, but the very definition of filler.
Yes. So we move on to, I suppose, a match that does have some storyline and WrestleMania ramifications. It's Asuka against the Irresistible Force. Harry, did you get the feeling they were trying to ram down the Irresistible Force nickname a little bit too much?
I was disappointed because I'm fairly certain our writer is listening to our podcast, and the suspicious dog line from The Simpsons. They've took that and gone, well, that's fucking ruined. Let's call her this now.
I actually really like Naya. I think she's pretty cool.
I think she's, yeah.
But it was just Irresistible Force, Irresistible Force, Irresistible Force, Irresistible Force. It was just, then she steps on the mask, which was I suppose a cool little backstage segment. Oh, there's the Irresistible Force stepping on the mask. Oh, that's coming up next. It's like, fuck me. She's an attractive large lady. It's just, Christ, they just really ram these stupid fucking nicknames and these phrases that, like, the term "Road to WrestleMania" is just so overly played as well.
Oh, don't, because that will eventually lead to. What's your favourite build towards WrestleMania? Is it pointing at the sign? Is it pointing at the sign in the ring? Pointing at the sign? They they just. It's like again going back to the fucking Simpsons. Where Marge repeats the same thing over and over again because it's the easiest way for you to remember. That's the WWE's booking in a nutshell. Just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and you'll never forget it.
This match, so Asuka against Nia Jax. If Nia Jax beats Asuka's 2.5-year undefeated streak, she gets placed in the Raw Women's title match. So I think it's pretty much. So Asuka hasn't actually declared who she's going to face, has she, at WrestleMania after her Rumble win? But it's just assumed that she's going up against Bliss.
Yes, I believe so.
Because this match wouldn't work if that wasn't the case.
No, of course not, because obviously Nia and Alexa have been mates for months now. But they didn't really factor that into this match. They did mention it a bit in the Elimination Chamber, but I don't think they mentioned it as much in this match, where it was obviously a bigger element of the actual ongoing story.
Yeah.
But this match, what did you think of it?
I thought it was fairly enjoyable. I didn't mind it.
Do you remember their NXT match? Because obviously that's the comparison. Did you prefer that or this one?
Did the commentary team mention the NXT match once?
No. Even though it makes up part of Asuka's undefeated streak.
Yeah, so I thought this match was good. I think they booked Nia kind of well.
I thought it made the most amount of sense purely because there's no way Asuka's going to lose at this point. I mean, they did tell a lie. They did do the exact same thing either last year or year before, where Charlotte was undefeated on pay-per-view, and then she got beaten on pay-per-view the month before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So there was always the possibility, the very slim chance that they might have actually done it as like a fucking big swerve. But otherwise, for competency's sake, Asuka's definitely going over. And the thing is, you need to keep the heat on Nia as well for future matches. So it made sense for her to be, totally dominant for it, and only Asuka to get the win through fluke at the end.
Well, I don't think it was fluke. I think.
Well, she got a sneaky. Well, she spiked her on a fucking head, if I remember.
But it was a creative reversal of a powerbomb into a roll.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it looked nasty.
Yeah, I mean, she just about rolled with it, but it did look like she nearly necked herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also we did have a moment in the match when Alexa Bliss was watching the TV from the side, because you've got to make it look as though, the idiots at home. Hey Ma, that girl's standing by TV. What's she doing? For some reason they used to. If you just look at,
that's Kevin Dunn doing that, going, "Well, they don't understand."
You beaver tooth motherfucker.
Can't believe you said that. He's really affect my team.
So they had that, and like they showed you a bit when Nia was beating up Asuka, and Bliss was smiling. Then when Asuka won the match, Bliss was visibly scared, which was just so silly. And as you say, so it was a fairly decent match. Nia did get some good offense in. Asuka did sell a fair bit, like she has done since her move up to the main roster, but she still wins. There was a couple of good little spots with her trying to get arm bars and stuff. She's very good. Yes, Asuka won, and as you said earlier, Nia had to get her heat back, so she attacked her after the match, put her through the barricade, which I thought was a decent spot. And I suppose because Roman was in the chamber match, he didn't have an exclusive on that spot, did he? So Nia got to use the barricade spot.
One Samoan gets to use it for a Samoan. As Nia related to The Rock? I can't even remember now.
She is, yeah. They're cousins, I believe.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, as it stands, Asuka... Well, I suppose Nia Jax isn't in the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. I have a feeling that she probably will get into that match.
Well. Yeah.
There was more noise on Raw from Bliss, especially trying to get her involved in a match. I suppose probably just makes Asuka's eventual title win at WrestleMania seem bigger deal because it will probably end up being like a triple threat, but 2-on-1 build, and she'll dominate them both, or she'll beat them both in a plucky babyface kind of way. Who knows?
Or they'll do the bad WWE thing, have a triple threat match, have Nia win, but pin Alexa, and then they push Asuka's streak as well. She's never been pinned. We'll just pretend nothing happened. Let it keep going. Just like the NXT Battle Royal, we don't talk about it.
We'll discuss booking options for women later because there's a thing I want to mention, or a thing I want to discuss, namely about Rousey. Yeah, so there we go. This match was followed by another backstage interview segment with the big dog. I don't think you can say that he's bad on the mic anymore.
No.
Or that he's got a bad promo. He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I think it's an unfortunate shame because he's now in that Cena spot where people will just fucking boo him there for the sake of fucking booing him. But I had no problems with this promo. I thought it was good. It was short and to the fucking point. He's winning tonight. He's beating Lesnar. He's winning the title at Mania. Believe that. I don't think he said believe that.
He didn't say. I was waiting for him to say it.
I don't think he actually said that. I've just put in it, unless the steroid thing gets some legitimacy, he's completely right on this promo.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
Yeah.
Right. This was followed by Bray Wyatt against Woken Matt Hardy. I basically just skimmed this match, and all I know is that Matt Hardy won with a twist of fate.
Did you want me to go through this match, Joel?
You can do if you want. All I know is that this was the crowning turd in the sewer pipe of this. This was the turd sandwich, the turd in the punch bowl of Elimination Chamber. So, if you want to go through it, please be my guest.
Let's do it. To start this match, Matt vanishes as Bray teleports to the ring. So Matt comes out first, and then you know the little clips that start Bray's entrance video, and it goes. Dah! Well, they played that twice, and then they cut to Bray in the middle of the ring. Crowd just looks bemused, and you see Matt's jacket on the floor, and he's just wandering around. And then there's a sneak attack, so it looks like Matt's managed to teleport himself. He's also talking during this entire segment, and Bray's looking around trying to find him. There's an exchange in the ring. Bray gets to the corner and does his corner spot, which Matt applauds and demands a standing ovation, which I thought was very funny.
I see.
There's some bollocks happening in the crowd. Wyatt has a gawk when he gets a chance. He looks visibly pissed off. The match continues, and the crowd starts doing the Mexican wave. Matt mocks them after doing the side effect. Bray manages to turn it around with an Uranagi and then a senton for a 2. I've put here, crowd has officially turned against this match. Bray attempts to Sister Abigail, but Matt reverses it into the twist of fate for the 3. Match was meh. Some of the crowd were utter cunts. Shame all round.
There we go. Right, good. We got that one out of the way. Next, so Ronda Rousey is going to sign her Raw contracts. Before that segment, they've done a nice little video package where you got a training montage. Everyone loves a training montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
A montage?
Yeah.
I think you're doing it.
Well, every film had a montage or two. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so you got all of the women's superstars and others talking up how great she is.
And then sniping her behind the back on Twitter going, this is ridiculous. I know we're getting worked.
Yeah, training montage led to Kurt Angle coming to the ring with the contract. There were loads of microphones on the table, which meant that fucking Triple H and Stephanie soon followed. I thought Angle was actually really good during this this segment because he did that whole smug but worried look. Like the whole point was that Triple H came out, kept going on and on about how great Rousey was. So did Steph, making history. She's like the baddest woman on the planet. Blah blah blah. Ronda comes out not in a Roddy Piper jacket. She was wearing a jacket that fit her this time. She had she had the look on her face again from Rumble where you could genuinely you look at her and you just think she's marking out. She's genuinely awed to be where she is. She loves being there. She's excited about it. Yeah, so they do that. They're gonna sign the contract. They let her talk for a bit, and obviously she wasn't scripted for this talk. I think it was quite clear she wasn't scripted because she just said that she's happy and blah blah blah.
If it was scripted, they might need to work on that. If it was from the heart, she looked nervous as fuck.
I think it was from the heart, and I think she was very, very nervous.
I think she was taken aback by the reception and just the magnitude of, what the fuck she's actually doing there. She came across as a real person, which was nice, but on the other hand, I'm so used to WWE performers where they're very eloquent and can, talk coherent sentences, as I struggle to say it myself. No, she came across as very real, but just a minor point.
Triple H was getting what chants before she actually came out, which I was just thinking to myself, oh, for fuck's sake, shut the fuck up. Don't do this to Rousey. Give her a chance. So Rousey did get the mic. She didn't get any what chants, thank God. She did get a few decent little chants, and again, you could see that she was quite pleased that she got a Ronda Rousey chant. And then the angle starts. Good old Kurt Angle with the angle. So he's mumbling to Triple H just as Rousey's looking at her contract, and this is where her acting and everyone else's acting kicks in. Kurt, looks like you got something to say. He then goes and shoots on Triple H and Stephanie by saying that they've been slagging her off. That was it. I don't know. The bitch thing was after, but yeah. I mean, it is somewhat annoying that one of the most mainstream, hottest stories in the WWE in the last few years, and it is going to be another bollocks babyface against the Authority storyline, because they just can't not do it, can they? It's just the way it goes, especially with Steph. Anyway, yeah. So it's very clear that what she lacks in mic skills, I actually think she comes across very well when it comes to her acting and facial expressions, and if they're going to play
body language was the thing that was key.
Her face, when she does that look, that stern look, it's actually the look that. So she was quite heel. Obviously, you're not a heel or a babyface in UFC, but she did play she was a bit of a.
She did it for manipulation and mind games in fucking UFC.
So when she used to walk to the cage, her face looked like a smacked ass every time, and it was similar to this. And you kind of thought, here we go. And so it gets to the point where Angle then tells her just before he's ushered out by Triple H that
he's got pneumonia. He's got the flu.
Yeah, he's got the flu. He's delusional. What was it? He said something along the lines of Steph thought that Steph says that you're has-been and that even she could take you. And then when Triple H gets back in the ring, he gets put through the table, which I thought was a interesting spot.
Didn't he try and do something to prompt her to actually fucking strike him?
No, he just walked. I think he just walked up to her, and he was like, I don't know if he was squaring up to her, but
no, I think she squared up to him, and I'm pretty sure he was about to put his arms on her shoulders to try and maybe not push her back, but to give some space, and she's just lifted him up and fucking smashed him through it.
Maybe, which I thought was good. Steph then proceeded to absolutely slap the shit out of Rousey.
Fucking hell. Eardrums piercing. Bad.
Yeah, she moved her hair away from her face and then did a very good like kind of Terminator, you done fucked up girl look at Steph. The crowd did join in by chanting "you fucked up," which I thought was quite good. Stephanie ran away. Rousey signs the contract, throws it on what appears to be dead Triple H on the canvas. End segment. I thought it was very, very well done. They've kind of extended this on Raw the next night. It appears that it's going to be a kind of
mixed tag match.
Well, I think that's definitely going to be the case, and it looks as though it'll be Rousey and Kurt, really, but we'll see. I suppose this is the way just to get her started in a tag match. I mean, if they have any worries about her performance, then she will be in a tag match, and you'd imagine that if it was, say, for example, Kurt Angle as her partner, then a lot of the heavy lifting in the match would be between Triple H and Kurt. Yeah, I thought this was well done. Does beg the question though, what would you do? I'm going to give you a year, right? A year to book Ronda Rousey. What would you do, Harry?
Oh, fuck. You've given me no fucking time to prepare for this. Put me on the fucking spot.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'd do.
Go on, go on.
So, I'd book her strong at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to go over. She's got to go over. I think it's as clear as day she's going to go over, right?
Well, after Sting, well...
No, but they were never going to make big money on Sting.
Well, they could have if they got more than fucking 2 matches.
Maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, maybe that's true, actually. Okay.
So, post-Mania, keep her strong. And as you're doing that, you keep Asuka strong and dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And after Mania, probably your champion. And then what you need to do is you need to keep them both strong and separate. And you need to hold off as long as possible. Ideally, you do it at next year's WrestleMania. Because, I'm not being funny, if Rousey was to catch fire and they booked Asuka quite well, you could maybe, depending on other star power, put this could be the first women's headliner at a WrestleMania. May not be. That might be quite, it might be me with the hyperbole, but we'll see. Anyway, you go as far as you can. You keep them both undefeated, and then you do Rousey against Asuka in a, someone's has gotta go match. Both undefeated. Someone's got to lose. I think they'll probably bottle it and do it at SummerSlam, maybe. And this is all dependent if Rousey gets over.
I was going to say that would imply that Asuka's going to stay undefeated for an entire year. Again, an extra year on top of what she's already on, which is like 800 days or so.
Not being funny, but if the end goal of that is that she'll stay strong no matter what because she's had 3 years worth of undefeatedness and she's great. And then imagine if that's Rousey, that could really tip Rousey over. What they didn't do with the take a streak, as in giving it to someone who could use it to get over. That could happen. Or she might fail miserably and just be a nothing. Who knows? People say she should have Heyman. I personally don't think that that's the case. I don't think she should yet until a heel turn. You don't do Heyman as a babyface.
I was going to say it's a bit redundant because Brock gets cheered anyway, and he obviously is a heel at this point.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. So I don't know what your thoughts are based on stuff like that.
What, the actual segment or booking?
Both.
The segment itself, I was fully prepared to shit on. I think I made my points quite clear about the Rumble. I was disappointed with the way it turned out. So I was ready for this to just be a fucking mess. However, I'm prepared to eat my words. This was a fantastic segment from beginning to end. I'm hyped as fuck to see how this culminates at WrestleMania. I thought she did fantastically well in this program. And whilst it'll probably ruin the day of this, because WrestleMania, it's a match with all due respect to Rousey, she's new to professional wrestling, and Steph is not a wrestler. And Triple H, whilst I'm sure he can have a good match, he's then got to face Angle, who's pretty much retired at this point. So it's probably going to be a bit of a wreck. But I am hyped to fuck to see how it progresses. So big thumbs up for me from this segment. It turned me around on her. So from a jaded old fuck like me, thumbs up. For Ronda's booking to do Armchair, I'd probably do something similar, except as I know you said they probably would hotshot it to SummerSlam, but I would probably do so as well because the implication is you have Asuka win the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania, but then you would have to have her undefeated the entire time. And I can't see them having her undefeated for an extra year on top because I think she's already ran rampant through most of the roster minus Nia from this pay-per-view. Who does she have left? If you have Asuka lose at SummerSlam, you could potentially build Asuka back up in time for Mania for them to have a rematch and then give Ronda, in the meantime, a run with the belt going through people and then culminate that at WrestleMania as a big revenge match with Ronda undefeated still. But that's just my armchair booking. For all I know, they might do... I mean, she has appeared on Raw. All the news going into it and for the television deal implies that the WWE is heavily implying that she's there week to week. because she's a big, trump card for them for getting their new television negotiation, and the television companies are not going to fall for it. They're going like, oh, right, so she'll be like Brock, where she's on 12 times a year. So for 12 episodes a year, we have a rating spike whilst we desperately try to sell adverts.
Yeah.
But I thought the segment was absolute gold. I thought I would probably say it was the best part of this whole show. And I've gone from being absolutely pessimistic and very uninterested to suddenly, holy shit, I can't wait to see how this unfolds at WrestleMania. So again, big thumbs up from me from this. I'm prepared to eat my words.
Yeah, I'm hoping it ends up being good.
So do I. Again, for the WWE sake, this isn't about women and other bit, how they, shoehorn and, beat on their own chest going like, look how fucking progressive we are. It's good for the WWE and wrestling in general that they have someone who's such a big star from the MMA world coming in and is prepared to put the hard graft in and becoming a professional wrestler in this new environment. It's good for the company, but it's just whether or not they achieve that with this. It's very interesting times, huh?
Indeed. And talking of interesting times, we move to the main event of Elimination Chamber. I suppose we have to call it the men's Elimination Chamber match.
We do.
Which determines who the number one contender for the Universal title to go against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Is this the most... I know I said last episode the Kane, Strowman, Lesnar triple threat was the most telegraphed main event for quite some time in the WWE. Did you think the same of this match?
Yeah, it's been reported that Roman was going to be against Brock for the title at WrestleMania for about 10 months now, so...
Yeah, that's fine. I thought it was just me. No problem with that, though. He's the lesser of all evils.
Yeah, I don't mind that. So, yeah, where the hell do we begin here?
We start with the concert.
Well, I like Elias. I really like Elias. I think his in-ring work will probably improve over time. I think everything else outside of it is really good. I'm a big fan of the gimmick. I think he's got a good look. He appears to be a very good talker. Yeah, I quite like the whole heel folk singer douchebag thing. Yeah, I think he's quite good.
Yeah, the easiest way of getting over, just, be entertaining as fuck as a heel.
He's never going to get pushed, though, is he?
I don't know with that gimmick. But then again, Cena was a rapper, music again. He managed to get over as fucking look where he is. I'm not saying he's going to become the fucking hot commodity of the entire company, which they're going to centre around him. But depends on how far they go with it. If they wanted to push him face, they just do the exact same thing, except he cuts songs on heels.
Yeah, there you go.
But I liked his gig. I liked his little concert at the start.
Yeah, I liked the way it ended as well with him talking. He mentions Braun, so Braun's hits and he runs into his pod. I thought that was quite good.
That was cute.
I have a note here on Finn Balor.
Okay.
This is a number one contenders match.
I think I know what you're going to say. Go on.
Which is, I suppose, considering it's the title he won and has never been given a fair shot at retaining since he came back from injury, it's another match that he doesn't deem worthy of the Demon makeup, because the Demon apparently does give him extra power in times of need in these situations. But no, he went with the I am a nice Irish lad babyface smiley as opposed to the...
Do any of you lads like Legos?
Yeah. Lads, I'll buy you a pint of Guinness afterwards. Yeah, I was a bit annoyed by this, but yeah.
I've got maybe a theory. Finn could have just said a line which was, "It's me going in there. I don't think it would be a good idea for the other 6 competitors to be trapped in the Elimination Chamber with the Demon."
No, that's exactly what he should do.
I know he should have said that, but he didn't say that. So that's in my head canon.
I wonder if Vince has basically just shelved it, the Demon.
I bet they were just... The other thing as well, you got to protect it, because him as the Demon is currently undefeated. So I suppose if he was to get beaten in this match and he gets beaten...
Well, on the main... He had lost... The Demon did lose on NXT, didn't it?
Yes, but that doesn't count because NXT's not canon. I say,
Yeah.
tell a lie. It's canon when it needs to be. Otherwise, just ignore it.
Another thing on Finn, actually, and this isn't knocking him. This is all booking decisions that he's been given, or booking direction. I've got a feeling that WrestleMania is going to be Finn and Seth. I've just got a feeling that's the way they're going, and Raw seems to have been a bit of a odd, disrespectful moment between the two there. They don't, they don't appear to have any other irons in the fire for WrestleMania. But this is exactly what should have happened upon his return from his injury. I know he's a babyface, and I know babyfaces are booked terribly in WWE sometimes. I mean, Bailey's a fucking case in point right there. But when he returned from injury, it should have been him and fucking Seth, and he should have been pissed off. And I don't know what you do with the heel face dynamic. Seth has been quite face for a while, but they should have fucking done it, because he ruined. There's a case for this to say he's ruined his big push. He was going to have a fucking big push, and you could say it was a moment of recklessness in the match. Was it a buckle bomb on the outside on the guardrail? Whatever. Yes. I don't think it. Yeah, it was a bad landing. The move should have been done, but obviously it takes two to tango. He should have returned as a Seth, you bastard! I'm going to fucking kick your teeth in. It should have. It just when he comes back, and there's no animosity. There's no like kind of, you fucker, you ruined my big dream push, and it's just kind of like stupid babyface all over again. I just think if they have a match at WrestleMania this year, they really need to start hammering home that Finn's pissed off about it. And if this means that he goes into a heelish, he's a great heel. If you look at his Bullet Club, the start of the Bullet Club in New Japan, his heel work there, obviously a bit of a different dynamic because of the Gaijin element, and obviously he just gets heat and anyway, just for that fact alone. But he was great. And I think if you just have him, Gallows, and Anderson, and whatever, they might get more people. Who knows? And if you turn Balor Club into an actual stable with him as a cocky wanker heel who hides behind his two big mates, it could be good. And maybe Seth is the right opponent for him to turn heel with. I know I've digressed quite a lot here, but I just thought I've got this on my notes about how it just annoys me seeing Finn all smiley and stuff, and I just think, you don't think he would have held that belt for very long, but yeah, this great opportunity to get going. And obviously with Vince, there's this whole thing with Vince, isn't it, where, well, if I put you on top and you get hurt, then you're not reliable, which Daniel Bryan also seemed to suffer with as well. But my two cents there on Finn Balor, the use of Finn Balor.
I fully agree. I just think it's a case of he's ever since he's come back from injury, he's such a low priority for their fucking writing team, and it just affects him so much. And the sad part is, Finn is a fucking workhorse, as is Seth for that matter.
Great.
I'd love to see the two wrestle. The only thing I got from Finn in this match was whether or not it could be Finn versus Braun at WrestleMania, if for whatever reason Braun's not put into the main event, which is probably not going to happen. I'd like to see, Finn as the demon against Braun the monster, just from a, narrative standpoint or marketing standpoint. Plus, it'd be like, Finn can work fast, Braun can just use monster spots and stuff. I mean, they had a little exchange in this match, which was really good. But as you say, it does look like it's going to be Seth and Finn for Mania, but it's got such bad build-up.
That's what I mean. They got 6 weeks to make it good.
No, but they could have had a fucking whole year to build it. Finn came back at the end of Mania last year. They could have brought him back, and he could have. Well, again, it's armchair booking. He could have brought back Balor Club immediately and said, "You've cost me fucking tons. I was on the shelf for however long, 6 months or 7 months, and now I've got to work all my way back up. But I'm going to have to take you down with me, and then just lead it to Mania." But then again, the way the WWE books, as Punk's podcast revealed, was Vince doesn't give a shit about anything except where is my top guy, which in this case is Roman. But the match, yeah.
seven men in this chamber match, which means it started off with a triple threat, which was interesting, I suppose. Who started it off? It was Seth.
Miz, Seth, and Finn.
Yeah, Cena. Cena was next in, got his spots in, including a 10 knuckle shuffle, I do believe. A good suplex spot when there was two suplexes, two big suplexes, shall I say, top rope suplexes.
Oh, yeah, they were good.
Yeah, you could see where Seth actually had his one ready to go, and he keeps looking behind him, waiting.
Yeah, that's right,
waiting for the go, yeah.
They weren't in sync either. Like, one went off and the other one, I think it was just to make sure they don't actually accidentally crash onto each other, but one went down first and then the other followed suit about 2 seconds too slow if they were intending to go synced up at the same time. Good though. Sounded very noisy.
Yeah, we then had 5 men in the chamber at once. Then who was the 5th in? Was it Strowman or was it Reigns?
Roman.
Yes, so the big dog was in 5th. There was the it kick spot from the Miz, which I don't know if I like his it kicks. I like the reason why he does them, but
I like him.
Yeah.
If Brian's never going to wrestle again, looking not.
Well, we'll see about that.
Soon. I don't know.
Is Brian all in, brother?
If the WWE was smart, they would give him whatever the fuck he wants to try and keep him away from Ring of Honor and New Japan.
I hope that isn't the case. I hope he leaves, and I hope he wrestles in places that he wants to wrestle and a style he wants to. But anyway, one of the most built-to points of the whole pay-per-view, Braun Strowman's entrance into the chamber. He enters, he clears house, he chases Miz. That bloody bit. You know, like when Miz gets on top of the pod and Braun Strowman appears to climb on top of the pod to chase him in a matter of seconds. It was
what was Miz's logic? He's like, haha, I've got the high ground, not realising, oh shit, he can actually climb. I didn't realise Braun could climb. That was my one, big problem.
If only Anakin Skywalker had
It's
seen...
over, Braun. I have the high ground. Braun! Oh,
brilliant. So he chases him up there, slams his head into the...
Miz is selling. It's like Home Alone, isn't
it? Chucks him onto...
everyone.
Yeah, which is a very safe but fun spot.
Yeah.
And so Miz then becomes the first to be eliminated with a running power slam. This theme will continue.
Hope you like Davey Boy's power slam.
Davey Boy's power slam if done really badly. But anyway.
Yeah, Davey Boy used to run. That was the thing. Braun doesn't run.
Elias enters. They kind of beat up Braun Strowman. They do a 4-man power bomb, which Braun kicks out of. He then gets AA'd. He kicks out at 1, I believe. He gets speared. He kicks out at 2. He gets curb stomped. He rolls under the ropes. He gets coup de grace. Cena, something happened to Cena. Cena then AA's Reigns. It's all kicking off. Everyone's down on the floor. Elias tries to pin everyone, but only gets 2 counts all round. Quite enjoyed Elias here. He just goes around and just kind of does moves on people, trying to do the sneaky heel stuff.
I like the electric chair powerbomb on Roman. That was really good.
Oh my god, how good was that?
It was fucking... I didn't even know he could fucking do that. I mean, the electric chair is probably the least used move in wrestling apart from the Dominator, but he just fucking...
Roman's a meaty fellow, so being able to do that, yeah. But it obviously didn't last very long for Elias because for some reason he goes and tries to do an electric chair spot on Braun Strowman. He gets like a downward arse on his shoulder, gets power slammed, and he's eliminated. That's 2 for Strowman with the power slam. I did have a note here saying, is Braun going to eliminate everyone? Surely not. Cena then... Shortly after that, Cena is eliminated by Braun with another running power slam.
What was he trying to do from the top rope to get caught in the first place? I was trying to think of moves Cena does from the top.
Only one he does from the top rope is that that kind of leg drop.
Famouser. That's it.
Yeah. That's what I thought he was going to go for. So yeah, he's eliminated. no road to WrestleMania for John Cena.
Oh no.
Because obviously WWE will 100% leave him off will 100% leave off their biggest marquee name still at the biggest show of the year.
Can you imagine if he goes to SmackDown on tonight and fucking Vince comes out and goes, "Well, John, no, you're not going to WrestleMania," and then just walks off, and then we don't get Cena, just to swerve everyone thinking he's actually going to face the Undertaker.
Well, what you should do is you should turn his desperation into getting a big WrestleMania moment to turn him heel, but that's beating an already dead horse.
You are not. That fucking horse is pandered into the ground and turned into fucking UK hamburgers. It's just not happening, man. It's not happening. He's gonna inject himself to make it a 6-pack challenge for that fucking world title. He'll lose that. God. All right, it's gonna fucking happen. 5's not a good number. We're gonna go for 6-pack challenge.
So Cena's gone. Finn gets some babyface fire. Gets a load of offense in. Coup de grace on Roman, but as he does the coup de grace, Brawny the Snowman walks in, picks him up, running power slam, and Finn is another victim of Strowman. That is 4. He's eliminated 4 fucking people. All 4 eliminations from Strowman so far. Rollins turns on Reigns, as expected, because that's what happens in these matches. They start beating each other up. Buckle bomb on Reigns. Reigns turns the buckle... I don't hate this spot, but I suppose it kind of makes sense. Buckle bomb... The momentum of him hitting the buckle means that he can Superman punch Seth. Seth hits a frog splash on Braun for a 2, which is a really good move. He does do that frog splash very well. You have to say.
He does. He doesn't land with his legs half the time. He tries to just proportionate drop.
But the frog splash doesn't keep Braun down for too long. He gets up and hits another running power slam on Seth, and Seth is eliminated. That's 5 eliminations all to Braun. This, I think when you've seen it 5 times, it does highlight that it's shit and he probably needs a new finisher. But, we'll see. So, we're left with the last 2 people, the big dog, Roman Reigns, and the big lad, Braun Strowman. You can hear the boo, when they do like a kind of face-off-y kind of stuff, you hear the fans start booing the prospect of Roman winning straight away. Braun runs into a pod.
I've put on here, didn't he learn from the ambulance match?
Oh, well, yeah.
Don't run at Roman. I'm not finished with you yet! Sidestep. He didn't scream this time, so he's learnt that bit. Just don't run into Roman, because he'll just sidestep you like a fucking Warner Brothers cartoon.
Braun runs clumsily into a pod, gets in the ring, spear, but he doesn't go for a pin. Instead, going back to... probably using his old wily knowledge of The Undertaker at WrestleMania last year, he does another spear, and Roman Reigns picks up the win, pinning Braun Strowman.
The crowd gets muted.
Yeah, the crowd is probably muted, you're right. And in an odd booking decision, Braun Strowman gets his heat back, very similar to how Nia Jax did earlier in the evening, by power slamming. Fucking 6th or 7th power slam we've seen in this match. He slams Reigns, crowd chant for one more, he obliges, and then he chucks Reigns into one of the other pods. So, the story of this match is how big and powerful Braun Strowman is, and I suppose you could then argue that Roman Reigns beat him, so Roman Reigns is ergo strong and big, and he's a big threat to Brock Lesnar. Some people don't feel that way, but whatever. Reigns wins. It's Reigns Brock Lesnar 2 at WrestleMania 34. And there we go. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. So Reigns has obviously just won a very, very important match in terms of booking and whatnot. But to end the show ends with Braun Strowman's music playing us out. So there we go. That's Elimination Chamber. What did you think of this match, Harry?
I liked it a lot more than the ladies' match.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
Some really good spots in it. The booking was a little bit weird, I have to admit. I think having Braun go over absolutely everybody minus Roman was a bit weird. I would have had Roman pick up. I would have had Braun eliminate maybe 4 people and Reigns eliminate at least one person. Again, it's just armchair booking. I can kind of see why because the booking obviously they want to have their cake and eat it. They want Roman to win. They want Roman to appear vulnerable, so it makes his Mania, as of time of writing, victory over Lesnar all the more impressive. And they want Braun to look super strong for his match against The Miz, as of time of writing.
As of time of writing, yeah.
As of time of writing, there's a very key word at the moment. I thought it was a good match. Again, I thought it was good. I thought everyone was very impressive. Cena, again, it's laughable. Where he does his sad dog face where he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to Mania." God, for fuck's sake. Miz was good. Elias was pretty good. Very unexpected performance from him. Seth and Finn, great. Yeah, no, this was a really good match. Again, it's another multi-man match in the WWE with a good match stipulation, and everyone kind of played their part. So yeah, thumbs up for me from this.
Yeah, it does kind of make me want to see Braun Strowman with the title, though.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I agree with that. Just not yet. I would say let Reigns get his win at Mania, and then maybe SummerSlam have it be Braun's time.
Maybe, but I have a feeling that Roman's going to get the belt, and he's probably going to hold it for at least a year.
I don't think they need to do a year-long title reign with that Universal title again. The only good bit is obviously at least the champion is present every week.
Oh yeah, he'd be on the show every week, wouldn't he?
Yeah, as opposed to now where it's like, oh, Lesnar's had this really long title reign and he's managed to establish Universal title. It's like, motherfucker's not even there most of the time. In fact, most of these main events for Raw are basically deciding who gets the privilege of getting squashed by Brock at the next pay-per-view.
And he wasn't on Raw following the Elimination Chamber, even though they advertised the face-off.
I think that's just a case of he did the exact same bollocks 3 years ago with his contract negotiations, and that led to... maybe I'm the only one who remembers this, or maybe I've made it up on the spot, where there was all fucking rumours on Squared Circle. It was like, oh, guys, did you hear? Brock no-showed because Reigns failed a drugs test, and now he's refusing to work with him. And it's like, fucking hilarious in hindsight. We both get done in for fucking roids in different organisations. It's like, he's obviously doing it just as a power play to get a better contract. Even though, in my opinion...
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, mate. Go.
Well, Dana White put a picture on Facebook or Instagram, I can't remember, of him and Brock Lesnar together. Brock wearing a UFC t-shirt during the Elimination Chamber, I believe. So
yeah, exactly. The pay-per-view overall, this was a mixed show. I have to admit, I thought the main event was good. I thought the contract signing was excellent. The rest was just ranging from all right to just pretty meh, and the crowd was shit, to be blunt.
Yeah.
Utter shit. And I don't know if that's just because the area they're in, they attract like, a different market of people, but...
Vegas is quite touristy, isn't it? The crowds?
That's the word I was trying to look for, touristy, sorry. So I don't think you're going to get your average WWE fan going for an inflated price, if that's the case, but... No, the crowd was shit. This was enough to say, fuck Vegas going there for a fucking pay-per-view again. But then again, the matches weren't particularly great either, on the whole. But for the last stop of Raw, it wasn't. It was a bit... I am hyped for certain aspects of WrestleMania, but other bits, such as the tag team division, the Intercontinental title, unless it is definitely Braun, no idea what the fuck's happening with that. And then we're left with a lot of talent that we don't know, apart from Cena, which seems to be the most telegraphed thing in the fucking universe.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And there you go, Elimination Chamber. And that's the end. That's the end of episode 14 in the books. 14 episodes. Look at us go. So, right, yeah. Well, I suppose we'll be back soon with Fastlane. When is Fastlane? That's got to be in the next week or two, right?
Less than a fortnight.
There you go. So, week after next. Yeah, that will be interesting. Got a fairly interesting main event. That's the 5-pack challenge, right? Isn't it, for the title?
As it stands, we are recording this on Tuesday just before SmackDown, so could change.
Yeah, or a 5-way.
Or 6-way.
Yeah, we'll see.
My road to WrestleMania runs through this 5-pack challenge I'm injecting myself into.
Oh yeah, well, he does have I'm a free agent and I can do what I want kind of thing. So maybe he will.
Again, there's just a final point. There's still a joke from fucking Squared Circle, Daniel and Shane. So you're a free agent, and you said your heart was with SmackDown, and then you fucked off for Raw for 6 months, and now you've come back because you've got nothing left on Raw to get to Mania. Nah, and then just that'd be it.
Maybe that will happen. That would be quite good.
Nah, they won't fucking dare. Cena knows. Cena knows deep down he's got that fucking covered in the in his pocket.
Right then, we're done.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from Harry. Say goodbye, Harry.
It is a goodbye from me. Thanks for listening, guys. No, remember to send your emails to Sparks Without Attitude
at gmail.com,
which Reese will check at some point in the next 1,000 years.
Hourly, yeah. Twitter, SWA_podcast, and SoundCloud.
And our YouTube, which you've refused to update because...
Takes too long to make videos. Anyway, yes, and iTunes, where you'll probably be listening to this, if you're listening to this. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back with Fastlane in the next few weeks. Toodaloo!